Hey everyone, welcome to Twin Tuesday. This week we are talking about the differences between singleton pregnancies and multiples pregnancies. I am 33 weeks pregnant. I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm 33 weeks pregnant because every single week closer that we are getting to that 36-week mark and then the 38-week mark makes me happy. I actually shot this video yesterday and am doing it again today because I actually got kind of a relatively decent night's sleep last night compared to the rest of this last week. This last week was really hard, but I'll get into that a little bit later. First comes the first trimester. Before we even knew that we were pregnant, I was exhausted. First trimester, there's always exhaustion, but my exhaustion was doubly as exhausting as I had remembered pregnancies in the past. And finding out that we were having twins made a whole lot of sense as to why I was so much more exhausted than normal. Thankfully, my nausea was not doubled. I have heard that people have twice as bad nausea when they are pregnant with twins. Thankfully, that did not happen to me. I have really not had a horrible nausea. I've never thrown up with any of my pregnancies and didn't throw up with this one either. And that was such a huge blessing because the exhaustion alone was really tough to get through. And just like a singleton pregnancy, the second trimester is like the honeymoon phase where your exhaustion goes away, your nausea goes away, you feel like you have a little bit more energy. You're not quite so uncomfortable as you will be in the third trimester. It's still relative compared to having one baby in there because you start getting uncomfortable a little bit sooner than you do. And then third trimester, the comfort level, there is no comfort. Really. I am bigger than I have ever been on any of my pregnancies, and it's difficult. It is a lot harder than I would like it to be. And so it's just, yeah, it is what it is. There's two babies in there, and they're bigger than my biggest baby combined. And so it's just a lot more uncomfortable. And with that, my sleep has probably been the number one thing to suffer. My hips have been the number one thing to suffer, which interferes with my sleep, I should say. Because my worst night this last week, I had one night where I was able to sleep on one side for half an hour, and then I had to flip over to the other side for half an hour, and then I had to get up and walk around for a little bit, which was just a quick trip to the bathroom, and then I'd try it again. And it was another 30 minutes on one side, wake up, flip over to the other side for 30 minutes, get up and walk around all night long. I was miserable the next day because it was just so tiring because I had half an hour of sleep every single time, and then I was alert and trying to get comfortable again. After that, I think I was so exhausted that I was able to sleep an hour at a time on each side, and which was a little bit better, but not really. It just seemed like torture because I was so exhausted and I really needed the sleep, but it was the most painful thing for me to do. To be able to lay on one side for an hour or more just hurt really, really bad. So even when I would flip over to my other side, the hip that I was sleeping on would be in so much pain that I would still have to try to go to sleep with the pain. Movement wise with the girls though, I expected my belly to go crazy with having two babies in there, all these limbs and everything to go crazy in there. But I really feel like being pregnant with one baby made my belly more distorted than having two in there, because I guess with one being able to stretch out and move wherever they wanted, the two in there are kind of moving more so sideways. They kind of push on each other a little bit more than they do on me. I do push them out of my ribs and a couple sore spots that they like to try to get into. But other than that, there hasn't been any crazy movements for me to be able to catch on video or anything, which is kind of disappointing. I was looking forward to being whoa, it's gonna look crazy when there's two babies moving around in there. But I feel like they're so squished that they're not moving as much as I expected. I mean, they're moving, but it's just not as weird looking as I expected it to be. I have had a couple more non-stress tests and an amniotic fluid index since my last video, and everything is healthy. The girls are going great. I've just been feeling pretty miserable with the comfort level that I don't have. But everything's good, and so I'm praying that they stay in. It has been really hard. I've gone back and forth of I'm doing everything that I can to keep them healthy and keep them in. On the other hand, I am just hurting. I'm always in pain. And there is, I mean, it's just a level of I can handle this pain or I can't, like I'm done. And so that's probably been my biggest struggle with this now. And so, in knowing that we definitely want to keep them in here for 3 more weeks, get them to 36 weeks. And then after that, they may or may not need any time in the NICU. Before then, they would need time in the NICU. So I'm praying that we get to 36 weeks with them. Although at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this. It's a lot of weight. Like the other night when I was sleeping, I was so uncomfortable and in so much pain. So I needed to roll over. But the weight of them was so heavy, I almost could not rotate my body over to get to the other side to be able to sleep. And so that was kind of like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to make this. Like, I can barely move because there's so much weight like right in front of me. And it's such like an inconvenient spot for all that weight to be. But it's only temporary and they will be coming out and hopefully not too soon. My last non-stress test did go okay. I got the okay to go home, but there were a couple of things that made the technician really want to talk to the doctor and make sure that the doctor approved for me to go home. When we showed up, baby A, her heartbeat was pretty high. It was higher than the level that they really wanted. They want their heartbeats to stay between 110 and 160. They do want to see their heart rates elevate twice during the 20 minutes that I'm doing the non-stress test. And so they were doing that, but her heart rate actually got up to about 180 a couple of times and stayed there for a little bit. And so that was kind of worrying her, wondering, is there something going on that we need to look into more? You will be back in a few days, but do we need to go ahead and check this right now or do we wait? And then the other thing that was a possible concern was that I had 3 Braxton Hicks contractions during those 20 minutes that I was there, and they really don't want to see you having more than 6 contractions in an hour. And so going ahead and having 3 in 20 minutes was a little bit concerning, but not too bad. So she went and talked to the doctor, and the doctor was like, she's fine, we'll see her then on Thursday. So so we'll see how that goes. And it just made me think okay, I really need to have everything done and ready by the end of this week, because if something's going wrong and the girls are not healthy staying inside of me anymore, they're going to have to come out. So that was kind of I'm starting to realize the chance of them coming before Christmas is a lot more than I have been thinking. But we'll see. I hope they don't come before Christmas, because I really don't want to have to see our girls in the NICU. But if it's the best thing for them, then we'll be welcoming them earlier than planned. Make sure you subscribe so you can continue to follow my twin pregnancy. Next week I'll be 34 weeks, hopefully. Hopefully we will not see these girls before then. If you haven't checked out yet, in the description below, I'm going to put a link to the video of me making the baby quilts for our girls. For all of our kids, I have made baby quilts for them and just finished our girls' quilts. And so that video will be in the description below. It's only a 4.5-minute video for you to go and see me making the quilts. And I think it was pretty fun to be able to see me working so fast in a video to make 2 quilts. It was pretty impressive. All right, well, I will see you next week without any babies in my arms, hopefully. And I will be showing you what is in my hospital bags. I am so close to having them ready. I'll probably have those ready before I go to sleep tonight. And get to show you everything that I am packing away for our hospital trip whenever that will happen. I'll see you next week. Bye.